Hi guys, my name is Faith and I welcome you as I open my heart and share about how I almost joined a cult, and hopefully this will serve as a caution. In other words, tuache kufuata watu ovyo ovyo. So it's 2005 and I'm transiting from a radio producer to TV production. And let me tell you, that process was hard. It was so hard because I didn't have TV contacts. I was trying to find an entry point. Basically, it was just hard. So one day, I'm at the city center having gone to do some errands, and as I enter a lift in one of the buildings, I meet a man who requested a few minutes of my time. He was a handsome white man who had charisma and he was extremely friendly. So when he requested a few minutes of my time so that we chat, I agreed and I followed him to the office, which was within the building. After settling in his office, he went on to explain about a self-healing technology. The basic tenets are: our physical illnesses are a result of past traumas, something that happened to us. So if you can find a way of sorting out your past traumas, then you can heal your physical ailments. So in other words, what he was saying is that all our illnesses are a result of psychological problems, and if we sort out those psychological problems, our bodies will automatically heal. That man explained that stuff so well that within 30 minutes I was convinced. In fact, for a moment nakumbuka nikijiuliza, why do I take medicine? And this is why that kind of information excited me. I used to have allergies. If you're someone who has suffered from allergies from childhood, that kind of information will excite you. I used to have a problem with dust and cold. Like anytime dust touches my nose like this, I'll sneeze for the whole day. And then the sneezing will develop into a really bad cold. If cold hits my back or my chest at any particular point, I would again sneeze the whole day. Then every year, I used to get malaria 3 times on average. Can you imagine that? It used to just to be miserable. So this information is, it is so good to me, and I'm thinking, nataka kusikia, I want to know how I'm going to get into this. So after a while of chatting, he handed me over to the Kenyan colleague, and that's when he explained that he's South African, and he had just come to Kenya to help set up the Kenyan office. Remember, all this time, hakuna mtu ameniambia hii ni cult. So vile walilan mimi niko in media, vitu kama hizo, they suggested that I should become part of them and I'll be one of them. I was flattered, to say the least. Remember, I'm looking for entry point into TV production. So this is a really good opportunity. They are giving me solutions about my crazy allergies. And then at the same time, they want me to join them on a media level. So I was really flattered and I wanted to be a part of them. So the first thing the Kenyan CEO did was to give me some audio tips that were meant to help me understand the founder's vision and how their technology works. Unfortunately, he was one of those people who speaks in abstract. Ushaisikia mtu anaongea in abstract, like hakuna kitu unaelewa. So I really understood nothing, but I was really determined to understand what these guys were about. But thank God, they had videos which were seriously on point. They really explained well what the technology is all about and things like that. The videos also delved into the human mind and how it works and how you can use your mind to heal physical ailments. So I was really excited about it. On the second day, which was a Saturday, the Kenyan head engaged me in a session called auditing. They don't like calling it therapy because they don't believe in counselors and therapists. So they call their process auditing, whereby the person who is being audited and the auditor, they sit facing one another. And then the auditor anauliza maswali. So based on those questions, the person who is being audited, they begin to recall hurtful experiences that happened in their past. And how it works is that you keep repeating, based on ile maswali this auditor is asking you, you will keep repeating those hurtful experiences several times as you say them. And as you repeat, you will notice that the first time, you'll probably even cry. I remember I cried. So you'll probably cry. Then by the time you are repeating that experience, maybe the 7th or 8th time, that pain will have diminished and you are not even crying anymore. So according to the organization, that is how you heal your body and spirit. So they also told me, now you see, has this thing helped you? Of course I was like, yes, hii kitu imenisaidia sana. So they're like, okay, now tell your friends about it. Wakuje pia hao experience. So within that week, I brought a friend. And now the next time I went, I remember it was the following Sunday. Mark you, all these times sijambiwa ni cult. So me, I went to church. And while seated, as I was listening to the pastor, this very strange thing happened. For the first time, I felt, the best way to describe that feeling is illuminated. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I was looking at these people, najiuliza, mbona hawa watu wanadependia Yesu, and yet they can sort their problems within their minds. Why can't they just do an auditing session and they'll be done? So you see, already, just for 1 week, I was beginning to hate on Christ. I was beginning to think, wale watu wanaamini mambo ya Mungu, they don't know what they are up to, you know. So that was me. Anyway, after the church, I went back to the office of the organization and continued to listen to the tapes. Those tapes were basically meant for me to understand what the organization is about. So at one point, the founder compared Jesus to popular human philosophers. Sigmund Freud, Charles Darwin, Mahatma Gandhi. He started comparing Jesus to these great human philosophers. He dismissed Christians as misguided people who elevate Christ to a superior being, yet he was a mere teacher. Exactly what I was thinking while I was in church. Yeah, I don't understand why people believe in guys like Jesus, and yet your solutions are in your mind. Exactly what I was thinking when I was in the church. So it was at that point that I snapped out of it, and I realized I was being indoctrinated into a cult. Do you know, hata sikuongelesha huyo CEO wa Kenya. I didn't even tell them that I'm quitting. I remember I just picked my bag and I strolled out as if I was going for lunch. In fact, he must have thought that I was going out for lunch, but I never came back. So he tried calling me several times, but I never picked up his call. So one of the things I was to later learn years later is that once you've done a session with these people, they consider you a lifetime member. So they give you a contract called the billion-year contract. They believe in reincarnation. So wanaamini utarudi tena. So that's why they were saying it's a 1 billion year contract. So long as you've attended an auditing session, they believe you're their member. So vile nilikata kuchukua simu za huyu ndugu, he handed my name over to the American office. Their office is based in Florida. So for 5 years, I kid you not, miaka 5, I used to receive a library of brochures and magazines. And every 2-3 months, I used to receive a call asking me why I had dropped out. Me, I wasn't rude to them. I just calmly explained that their founder belittled Christ, and I couldn't take that. Eventually, after about 5 years, the calls stopped. So by 2010, the calls and the correspondence had stopped. So now let me take you back to that 205 as I was joining. See, I told you they kept encouraging me to get friends to join. So one of the friends that I had tried recruiting, the day I called her, what she didn't tell me at the time is that she went online and researched about the organization. She was shocked to learn that they had destroyed many lives. What they were not telling me is that now when you're sitting with this auditor, unakaa unamwambia stories zako, the way things were hurtful in your life, and that is probably what caused you to get these allergies and everything. That auditor is recording you. They have a recorder which is secret. You don't get to see it. So apparently, they record you. Remember, niliwaambia kitu ni very addictive. So, you keep going back. You keep going back. Like me, I remember my first session was on a Saturday. So Sunday, nilikuwa nizile za guy. Akis, nataka tu kurudi niende nifanye hiyo session. So you see, because it's addictive, maybe you will do it a minimum of 3 days in a week. Assuming umefanya mwaka mzima, kutaendaje? Si wako na info yako hivi. So some of that information, of course, it's not very good. Maybe kuna kitu ilikufanyikia ukiwa mtoto, something you're not proud of, something that is private. So the day utakuja uthreaten useme unataka kutoka, wanakwambia, we will release this. And remember, I told you, money is at the center of this organization. Like now, that first session, if I had eventually signed my contract, I would have paid 5,000 shillings for that first session. Now, maybe a session can go for like 12 sessions. So you do auditing for 12 sessions. Imagine your recording yote iko. Then from there, unaenda, I think stage 2, which is like 10 sessions again or 13 sessions or whatever. Hizo zote si unalipa. So you can imagine, this is a group that has so many members. So the group has money. That's where I'm going at. The group has money. Ukiamua unatoka. Even them, they decide to destroy you. And they will hire lawyers. Because pesa iko. Wako na pesa hivi. So they will hire a lawyer. na hiyo lawyer kazi yake itakuwa kukuharibia jina. So he will go to newspapers, he'll go to the media, splash your name, pay whoever they need to pay, and get your name out there in a very wrong light. So that is what now my friend discovered. He discovered that they had destroyed millions of lives. Then they excommunicate you. You can just imagine a child who was born into the cult. If you decide to leave, you're leaving your family, you're leaving your friends, you're leaving everyone. And then you've been brainwashed to believe that you're brighter than the world. So hata kuingia kwa dunia itakuwa ngumu. To integrate yourself into the world, it will be very difficult. They also used to recruit Hollywood stars whose job is to hoodwink ordinary people and market the organization. So according to those YouTube's testimonies, they normally say most of the Hollywood stars who are still in the organization is not that they are in it willingly. Of course, after some time they discover this group is weird. Yeah? So they decide they want to leave. But then they are reminded, you're a celebrity, we have enough of your secrets. So if you leave, we are going to release this material. So most of the Hollywood stars have been locked in the organization because they can't leave. So one of the stories that really breaks my heart is of a lady who was born in the cult because her parents were part of it. So when she was a teenager, one day one of the high-ranking officials raped her. Since the organization prefers to sort things internally, they decided to cover up for the official because they didn't want a scandal. So this lady lived in devastation. Then late after she grew up, like in her 30s, she decided that she wants to leave the organization. Because after all, remember, she was not in it because she wanted, because she found her parents in it. So of course, when you grow up, you also have your own mind. So you're there thinking, this is not the kind of life I want. So she wanted to leave. Do you know the organization threatened her and they told her, if you leave, we are going to release that rape story. But her, she called their bluff and she left. They splashed that story all over media, newspapers, radio, TV, social media. They splashed her story all over the place, claiming that she's actually the one who had seduced the man, she had not been raped. So that experience really devastated her. In fact, by the time her interview was happening, she was still very traumatized over what had happened to her. So that's the kind of information they take and then they use to blackmail people, and they force them to stay into the organization even if they don't want to. The reason why I'm sharing my experience is because I want it to serve as a warning to any youth who is listening to me. My point is, it's very easy to join a cult. Mark you, these people never come to you with the scary stuff. They'll never tell you that at some point they'll blackmail you. They'll never tell you that they have strange beliefs within the cult. They will give you a very enticing entry. In this case, they used psychological therapy in a way, although they hate calling it that. They use psychological therapy to entice people into joining the cult. Also remember that cult leaders, they prey on the needs of their potential followers by promising to fulfill a need that is lacking in society. I'm reminded of a cult called the People's Temple, infamously known as Jonestown. This was a cult established in America by a charismatic leader who preyed on the racism era in America in the 60s and the 70s. He promised his followers life free of discrimination, and people followed him in droves. White, black, anyone who felt disenfranchised by society, they followed him. Unfortunately, once they entered, they soon discovered that all was not gold. And when some members decided they want to leave, he convinced them of drinking poison. Can you imagine that? And then those who refused, the poison was forced down their throats, including children. Can you imagine? Kids. Children were forced to take that. And by the time the world went to their rescue, close to 1,000 people were dead. And that's my point. Cult leaders prey on the problems people are experiencing while promising to sort them out. But once you get in, instead of finding solutions to what you're seeking, all you find is manipulation and secret practices that most of the time are not good for you. Before you join any group, first research on it. And YouTube is a very good place to start in because YouTube doesn't filter anything. They will tell you everything that you need to see. In my case, I was being groomed into abandoning my faith in Christ. And because of the information I would have revealed over time, that information would have been used against me to make it very hard for me to live. So, what's your story? Have you ever found yourself in such a situation? Talk to me in the comment section and kindly subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos. And remember to share this video with your friends. You might help someone who is just about to enter into a cult, or someone who is already in a cult and they don't know how to go about it. Also remember to join me next time, where I'll be telling you about how I was invited to a foreign country and I almost fell into a very precarious trap. Wale mnafikiri kusafiri nchi za nje? Hebu join me next time. That will definitely be your show. Unaweza jipata kwa shida. So as I promised earlier, I was going to tell you a little bit about who I am, what I do. And as I told you, my name is Faith. I'm a content creator and an audio visual producer. Or even you have an advert you'd like someone to produce for you, talk to me. I'll assist you with that. I also do mentorship, whereby I can come and talk to young people wherever you are, be it a college, a secondary school, a church. Talk to me. So thank you for hanging out with me and stay safe.